So, we have come down to doing a showcase of probably one of the most hyped beers of all time. Quick little story of Heady Topper and what it is. It sat as the number one beer in the world for roughly 5 or 6 years, and it was extremely unattainable as every single craft beer nerd wanted to get this beer. You'll probably hear me say that. I trade a lot of beer from Pliny just to get these beers on the East Coast. Without Heady Topper, there is no such thing as the East Coast IPA slash hazy IPA slash everything that basically is coming out of the East Coast that we now consider these unfiltered IPAs. They were the originators of it, and it was impossible to get a can of this. Even when I first got into beer, it took me a very long time just to be able to obtain a can. When I finally got it, I was given exactly one can. And the funny part of this is that the first time I got Heady Topper, I got exactly one freaking can of this, okay? One can. And at the time, I had a lot of family members that had already gotten into craft beer, and the director was part of this. And we actually ended up splitting one can amongst about, I want to say 8 people, if you recall that. But you're not supposed to drink this with 8 people, but I wanted to make sure everybody would be able to say that they ticked the beer. And that's a very common thing. Beers, people just want to tick a beer. They just want to know they've had it. And that's what I did the first time I had it. Second time I had it, I liked it so much the first time that I found a place that would actually sell me Pliny the Elder, which was equally as difficult to get. But there was a guy that had just made a trip up north and picked up the beer, and I actually ended up getting a full case of Pliny. So I ended up trading a case of Pliny for a case of Heady Topper, and I ended up getting a whole case of this. And at that point, I invited the same 8 people that drank with me, but this time they all had their own can. In fact, they each had their 2 cans of each, and we ended up drinking quite a bit of it. And since then, it's always had a really special place for me just because of what the beer means. This is the ultimate form of seeking your white whale and finally catching it, and the ultimate community, because this was what I ended up doing just to end up having these memories, and I'll never forget it. Every time I have it, it's a very special moment for me, and having it again right now is awesome. And so let me just give you a couple quick notes about this beer. So for reference, this is the single IPA. This is the double IPA version. I'm personally a fan of the Focal Banger more than I am the Heady. This actually has Mosaic and Citra, which you'll hear me say are the 2 favorite hops of mine. I'm just going to give you some quick notes. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drink from the can as well. Normally, you will never hear me say that because I will always pour my beer, but the Alchemist Brewing Company specifically says drink from the can right on the can, and it's just because they do want you to have a very specific flavor that they're trying to get out of it, because when you pour the beer, some of the resin does tend to fall, and it does tend to change the beer a little bit. Not enough in my opinion, because I always prefer it out of the can, but let's just see the difference on both real quick. Oh man. Oh dude, man, I love this beer. Just Mosaic on the nose, grapefruit, small hints of pine. This is awesome. I'm gonna enjoy this, guys. Really. All Mosaic, very small hint earthiness bite right here. So rich. It's very thick, kind of creamy kind of flavor of it. Overall, the beer is absolutely fantastic. You get a little bit of that citra pops, a little bit of floral. This is coming out here, which they say it falls off a little bit from here from that resin. I'll tell you whether it does or it doesn't. I can tell you 100% this is a lot hoppier. I'm drinking it from the can. It's giving me a lot more earthiness, a lot more bite right here. This is a little bit more floral, I would say, if you're looking for something a little bit less of a bite on your palate. This was the way I would go. Personally, this is the way I'm going to drink this beer versus the way drinking it out of the can, even though I could see why somebody would easily like this because this has a little bit more hop and bite on it. All right, up next, that Heady Topper. Man, This is the best review of all time, guys. I'm just enjoying the shit out of this review. This is awesome. Ah, man, there's just so many memories with this. Again, drink from can. So much more floral right off the nose right here. A lot more of that citra flavor. Way more floral, more bright, more tart, more citrusy, orange flavor. So you're getting a little bit more of that overall light fruitness. I've had this before in that same sense, so that I already know what I'm expecting, but I'm going to do it anyways. And very similar to the Focal Banger, it has a bite that comes right from the can because it doesn't let the resin that they're talking about on here, it actually says on the can that it lets it sit to the bottom, float to the bottom. In the can, it doesn't have that because you're drinking it directly from it. So it has a little bit more of a hop bite to it. It's a little bit more earthy, stings a little bit right here with that earthiness. So you're going to feel it a lot more. So if you're looking for something more citrusy, drink it this way. If you're looking for something a little more hoppy and earthy, you're going to drink it this way. And that's really the main difference between drinking these. But honestly, both, I don't really care. Just drink it the way you like it. This is phenomenal beer. Remember, when you're drinking a beer of this caliber, I am going to at least recommend that you are at least already into craft beer and definitely into hoppy beer. You don't necessarily need to be into super like hoppy West Coast IPAs, but you should really enjoy beer at some extent because this is a $7 can here. Now, keep in mind, this probably doesn't cost that on the East Coast where they make it. They make this in Vermont. But it's awesome that we are able to actually get this shipped, readily available. Again, I got this at Hollingshead. And I believe they said that they get it 3 times a year right now, currently. And they get a lot more of the Heady Topper than they do the Focal Banger. They usually, this last time that I went, I believe they said they got 3 cases of this and only 1 case of this. But this is the one that's this is the one that's more heavily sought after just because this one has the name recognition. But personally, I've always preferred Focal Banger over Heady Topper, but it's not like it's really a race. It's literally like this much difference. I can drink both these beers any time of day. Oh, dude.
That's pretty good, dude. I don't really...
Oh, man. This is so freaking good, man. Look, you can even see the little floaties that just dropped in there. The little hop resin that drops in at the end. You got like a little small little amount of floaties in there. Just like a little hop residue.
I'll give it this. So these beers, like, they're like highly like they're photogenic. Just like this golden, like...
Oh, God, dude, I really have no preference, really. I mean, I think I have to go with the Focal Banger. God, I'm drinking them side by side right now. This isn't even a review. This is just watch me.
Let's press these as fast as we can.
Watch me slam some fucking beer. Just how fast does he actually really drink? No, I don't slam beer. At least not that often. That freaking lager earlier, that was absolutely a crusher. This one, I don't even want to crush this, dude. I'm just enjoying the shit out of this.